Hey everyone, Skull902 back for another part of Sonic Mania. This is part 3, and we're going to be going through Studiopolis Zone, which is chock full of references to Sonic and other Sega properties and stuff. It's really fucking cool. But before we get into stuff like that, I'm going to be talking a little bit about some stuff in the game, of course. Why would you not expect me to talk about stuff in the game? In the fucking... Hey, there's one such reference. Anyway. One of the things that you can get scored by, this is new, is the cool bonus. And from what I understand, the cool bonus is based on how many times you've gotten hit in the level. 10,000 is like the maximum. You know, the maximum amount of points that you can get for being cool. So the game tells you how cool you are, which is a fucking dick move. Sonic, why you gotta judge people like that? You know? I'm kidding, of course, but. Anyway, it's just a neat little thing. You know, you can get some more points for getting hit less and less times. I believe it takes 1,000 points off for every time that you get hit. So you know you get 10 chances to get some more. You have 10 chances. Jesus. To get some more extra points than you normally would have in like any of the other games. And you know what? That's pretty cool. I like that. Because especially when you do no save games like I tend to do, you know, points become much more important because every 50,000 points you get an extra life. So it was cool of them to put something else in there that could, you know, increase your score or whatever. Good shit. So anyway, Studiopolis Zone. There's another such reference. The little satellite trucks there, the satellite vans have like a red color scheme, and they say Hornet on them. That's a reference to Daytona, USA. Because I believe that is like the default car that you race in Daytona, USA. So it was really cool to have that in there. Here's another such reference, Sega Sonic Popcorn Shop. Sega had some popcorn machines in Japan that had like very simple Sonic arcade games in them. Again, this zone here is, like I said, chock full of references to some neat, like, obscure and not so obscure Sonic stuff. It's fucking cool. I absolutely love it. We saw another one, Pink Bot, I believe it is. That's a reference to some scenery in Streets of Rage, a name for a nightclub. I'm not sure what the actual name of the nightclub is in Streets of Rage, but you know, it's cool. We got another one. Goodness, man, running right past. Club Spin, I believe, is another such reference. But anyway. Let's get away from the references now, because this is the first of the Hard-Boiled Heavies, the transformed EggRobos that we saw earlier. This here is the Heavy Gunner. He's blue, and in this mini-boss, he's going to be firing some missiles at you, and you don't want to run into the red missiles. With Supersonic, this is an absolute piece of cake. With regular characters, it's a little bit more of a hassle because you're kind of fighting against you know, the screen. It's sort of like an auto scroller when they do the bits where you're trying to get to the missiles, and it's also really hard to recover rings when you get hit. So that's something. The pattern, I believe that the missiles shoot in is RNG. It's random every time. And again, you just want to get the blue ones so that you can knock off all the EggRobos that Heavy Gunner has riding around with him until you get to the main motherfucker himself. And his unfortunate pilot EggRobo there, who's going to have to be a bit of a sacrifice when I'm done with him. You know what I mean? And that's the boss battle for you, essentially. Heavy Gunner gets away. We've destroyed his stupid little helicopter. He can go fuck himself, for all I care. And that's Act 1. So, good stuff. Back to references and things. Like, the last thing I think I'm going to mention for now is there's also in Act 2, which is, like, more like a movie studio than a TV station. You know, that's the sort of theme here. It's a big old studio. There are some clapper boards, and the clapper boards will have like the initials of one of the developers, or you know, some other reference on there. So there's like a CW. I believe there's a ST. You know, it's really cool, the kind of stuff that you can look in on and check and see for references. A lot of them are extremely well hidden. One of which in Lava Reef I'm gonna mention. I'm probably gonna have like a separate extras video just dedicated to references because there's so many in here, and I know I'm not gonna be able to mention them all. So you know, good stuff. I love hidden stuff like that. It's absolutely fun to take a look around and, you know, see how all that stuff comes together. It's absolutely fun, and I love it. So, Studiopolis Zone with the name is an interesting story. Because Studiopolis is actually the name of the recording studio that Sega uses to record the vocals for the 3D games. So, you know, that's where Roger Craig Smith and Kirk Thornton and Mike Pollock and everybody, or I think Mike Pollock might actually do his lines at home, but whatever. When they record Sonic games, they do it at Studiopolis for the English vocals. And that, surprisingly enough, was not a reference. The development team for Sonic Mania had absolutely no idea that Studiopolis was, you know, a thing, or at least was the place where the actors for the 3D games recorded their lines. So when they found out about this, they had some alternate titles for the zone conceived, one of which I think is actually a really cool name, and I'm kind of sad that they didn't go with it. Opening Night Zone, which I think is amazing sounding. But they went to the studio and they're like, can we have permission to use this as the name for this level? And apparently the studio was like really on board with it. They were like, oh my god, that's cool. You know, go right ahead. So that's nice. That's really nice, and kind of a neato little coincidence about you know, how this zone came together. This zone was actually responsible for the entire game. Actually, this was like Stealth and Taxman made a prototype of this zone and presented it to Takashi Iizuka as like, here, we can make a classic Sonic game for you. It was going to be called Sonic Dimensions, and this was the first zone that like they had made in relation to this game, and that's pretty cool. I'll explain that boss later, and what you're hearing right now is the buzzing from the 25th anniversary stream. That's another reference. You can actually see the date there, 7/22/16, on the little test screen there. That's a PAL test screen, by the way. I don't have enough time to mention all of this stuff, but Studiopolis was like the first zone, so it's neat to see the zone that's responsible for the entire game. And all the fucking references packed in there, man. But anyway, next time, we're going to be taking a look at a reused zone from Sonic 3 and Knuckles' Flying Battery. I've been Skull902, thank you for watching, and have yourselves a wonderful day.